Hi everyone, today I wanted to make a video about I reacted. I watched almost all of the probably all of the Fnaf timelines, and I can safely say that I hate almost all of them. Most of them still say the same thing about Charlie or Elizabeth being the first person or child to die in the Fnaf game series, in the timeline. And that's completely incorrect. It's incorrect. Especially due to a story standpoint. So, Evan, the crying child, saw something that made him scared of the animatronics. But he was scared of mostly Fredbear. Just Fredbear. And I think it was now because of his imagination. Because kids, obviously, have imagination. Little children. Infants, toddlers, children at the beginning ages of being 7 to 12 years old, they have imagination. And that's fine. So, Fredbear was even from the game that he appeared in on Fnaf 4 during the minigames, he did look a little scary. I could understand why the crying child was scared, because he probably didn't want to get too close to him anyways. But his older brother and his friends persisted, and they shoved him into Fredbear's mouth. Fredbear crushed Evan's head and killed him. Charlie being William's first victim is true. Well, from a story standpoint of the actual lore of the series. However, why William killed Charlotte / Charlie wasn't because of remnant, or he discovered it when Evan died. He discovered it later on when after he killed the missing children. After 1985 and before 1986. And so he discovered it after he killed the missing children, but after the puppet also gave them life. That was also the thing that William wanted to at first, to put them back together. And so the puppet, possessed by Charlotte, did just that. And for Charlotte to be William's first victim, it makes sense. Now, the reason why Charlotte was killed by William, because William was jealous of Henry's relationship with his children. He had a perfect family and William didn't. William was dysfunctional. He was almost sick in the head. And his first actual victims before Evan's death was in 1970, when he murdered his own parents. Due to, after William had Michael 3 years earlier in 1967, and 2 years before that in 1965, Oliver, William's father, murdered William's mother Elizabeth due to a woman that Oliver has been seeing. And Oliver was manipulated by this woman. He manipulated him into killing his wife, and so he did just that. So the woman became William's stepmother. William saw what happened. and his parents didn't notice. 5 years later, in 1970, William was already angry at his family, and since he didn't want to have Michael in the first place, since he wasn't ready to be a father, he killed his parents. That's what happened. Nobody knew. He prioritized his entire life to his work from now on after what happened, and even after he had two more of his children, Evan and then Elizabeth, he wanted to love them. He actually wanted to be a father for once, but he didn't. He was so preoccupied with his work that he just neglected them, ignored them. And then Evan died. William killed Charlotte the same year. Evan's death was on his birthday, October 9th, and Charlotte's death was on Halloween, October 31st, that same year, 1983. William and his wife got a divorce. William got custody of his children. His wife died. William became more neglectful, and even abusive and narcissistic. I've also added the story of Room for One More. I actually saw the story and it's interesting. So the ending, spoiler, involves Stanley realizing that the mini Renus has crawled into his body. Disgusting. So, at that moment, he screams. And I would safely say that he might have died because death. Duh. And since there's barely a happy ending and cliffhangers, I would mostly say that he died. He just died. Unlike Michael, because of Remnant, and it made him immune. But did Stanley? Nope. He just died. That's my assumption. He just died. And, sometimes this gets a little stuck. So, 1997, a guy, Stanley, works as a night guard for Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental to watch over this facility so nothing can escape. But he falls asleep. As Stanley was sleeping, Jason Wilson, one of Michael's ex-friends, who abuses his girlfriends to be a servant/maid to clean and cook for him, steals a maidenette from the facility. After he abuses the maidenette several times, it gets revenge by drowning him in a hot scalding bath. Stanley has been working as a night guard for a couple of months. That's my version of the story. At the underground facility, after the previous security guard died from a massive heart attack. I don't know why they added this, but whatever. It's fine. And besides, maybe the facility keeps on hiring night guards when the old one just disappears, dies, or whatever. Or quits or gets fired. You know, typical stuff. Yeah. Especially for Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I actually like Stanley's story because it also involved him. In the story, it turns out that his girlfriend Amber broke up with him. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, and plus I decided to add this. Shut up! Sorry. Anyways, I decided to add this because, Michelle Schmidt. So, I added in my timeline about, Jane Schmidt, Annabelle's sister, and, Michelle Schmidt, the news reporter, is, Jane's daughter. Jane is a little similar to the Aunt Jane in the Fnaf movie. She likes money. She doesn't get along with her family. I would imagine, since Fnaf 2 is a prequel, I'm guessing that it would involve Jane and her siblings, either the father or the mother of Mike Schmidt and Abby and Garrett. They would not get along with Jane because of her greedy, rude behavior. And I would imagine them smacking her in the face. I don't care. Okay? If I was in the movie, I would legit smack her. I mean, no offense to the actress. She did a great job, but the character, my God, she is just so selfish. And you know what? It's confirmed in the Wikipedia that she indeed died. Good riddance. And Doug was the only one who survived. He was the only one who was part of that diner with Jane, Max, and Jeff, who didn't die. He wasn't supposed to be part of her mess, but she just dragged him into it. But thankfully, he wasn't exactly involved in what happened, so he didn't die. And good thing, because he's such a sweet man, with a nice, delicate voice, and the actor, my God, he's just so sweet. And thank God the actual actors and actresses are actually aware about the movie that they're in, especially since the strike is over. I'm happy about that. And I hope the sequel comes out soon. I'm excited for it, and I just want to see what happens. Also, potato salad. Oh yeah, actually, why don't I do that for the next video? Probably Monday. I keep on going to Wattpad on, my story about the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline, my version, but I just want to make it clear to people that, this is the most simplest version that I can come up with. The most simplest story-based timeline that I can ever do. And I don't care if Scott Coven or Steel confirms about the story, because they probably don't care. They just do whatever. And that's fine. Okay? It's not my problem. So yeah, a few of the headcanons you obviously can see from the timeline, especially from the characters. Just to let you know.